Hey everyone, welcome back to Homespot. Today we are giving a tiny garden a serious glow up by turning old, leftover wood into unique outdoor art. If you love budget-friendly creativity and want your garden to feel more designed and personal, you are in the right place. Let's transform scraps into standout decor. Tiny gardens shine when details guide the eye, and bird silhouettes do that beautifully. Cut simple bird shapes from thin reclaimed wood. Mount them on slender stakes and line a narrow path or border. As the sun moves, the silhouettes cast shifting shadows that feel alive. The result is playful but still elegant, like a quiet story unfolding while you walk. Even a small walkway can feel special. A tiny garden can look instantly upgraded when plants are presented like art. Build floating frames from slim upcycled planks and place them around a potted plant or a small bed, as if the greenery is being exhibited. The frame adds structure and makes the composition feel intentional, not random. It also helps separate focal areas in a limited space. Suddenly, one plant becomes a featured piece, not just decoration. When space is limited, vertical surfaces become valuable design territory. A Scrapwood mosaic panel turns a plain fence into a textured statement. Use small triangles and squares from offcuts, vary the tones, and embrace the irregularities that make it handmade. In a tiny garden, this backdrop creates depth and a sense of craftsmanship. Pair it with a few simple plants below, and the wall becomes an anchor that upgrades everything around it. Layered plank art adds a warm, architectural look that suits a tiny garden perfectly. Stack weathered boards in overlapping rows to create subtle shadows and depth, like a rustic relief sculpture. The worn grain and patina bring character that new materials cannot imitate. Hung on a fence or wall, it gives the garden a design focal point without using ground space. Nearby plants feel more intentional, framed by texture. Tiered planters made from log slices are a clever way to create height in a tiny garden. Stack the levels so vines can drape and small flowers can pop at different elevations. The round wood grain adds a natural pattern, while the layered shape feels like a sculptural object. This kind of planter also helps you separate plant varieties in a compact area. One small corner turns into a lush, vertical display. Curves are powerful in tiny landscapes because they break harsh lines and add movement. A low retaining wall made from reclaimed timber can wrap around a bed and instantly define it. The wood grain adds warmth, and the curve guides the eye through the space. This technique helps a small garden feel designed rather than cluttered. With plants spilling slightly over the edge, the wall looks soft and natural, not rigid. A mini pergola built from reclaimed beams adds structure and shade without overpowering a tiny garden. It creates a ceiling effect that makes the space feel like an outdoor room. Let vines climb the frame or add a light fabric drape for softness. The aged wood texture feels grounded and timeless, and it gives you a strong focal point for a seating corner. Even the smallest patio area can look intentional and high-end. A color block path made from wood fragments is a bold way to inject art into a tiny garden. Press small pieces into the ground in a flowing pattern, mixing tones like a mosaic. The path becomes both functional and decorative, guiding movement while adding energy. Because the garden is small, the pattern reads clearly and feels intentional. Pair it with simpler planting nearby, so the design can breathe and stay visually balanced. Lighting makes a tiny garden feel magical, and upcycled lantern frames do it with character. Build small open boxes from Scrapwood, keep the rough edges visible, and place solar lights inside. At night, the glow highlights with texture and casts soft patterns onto nearby leaves. This creates atmosphere without needing expensive fixtures. A few lanterns along a path or beside plants can turn a simple garden into a cozy retreat after sunset. A patchwork plank gate adds charm and sets a story-like tone for a tiny garden. Using mismatched reclaimed boards makes the gate feel collected over time, full of character. When vines climb the frame, the gate becomes a living threshold, separating everyday space from a small green sanctuary. Even if it opens to just a narrow path, the moment of passing through feels special. This simple feature instantly upgrades the garden experience. Vertical herb walls are perfect for tiny gardens because they add greenery without using floor space. Pallet slats can be arranged into simple rows, creating pockets for herbs that look fresh and abundant. The rustic wood contrasts beautifully with bright leaves, making the wall both useful and decorative. This also brings fragrance and practicality into the design. In a small garden, harvesting basil or mint from a stylish wall makes the space feel alive and personal. A reclaimed pallet bench adds function and style to a tiny garden, turning it into a place to stay, not just look. Keep the construction sturdy, highlight the wood grain, and let the weathered finish tell its own story. When you add cushions or place it near flowers, the bench becomes a natural focal point. In limited space, one well-placed seat changes everything. It suggests comfort, rest, and a garden designed for living. Raised beds framed with notched reclaimed planks make a tiny garden feel organized and productive. The clean edges create structure, while the aged wood keeps the look warm and natural. Even a small plot becomes visually satisfying when plants are contained in crisp lines. This also helps with soil quality and maintenance, making gardening easier. In a compact space, neat raised beds feel like smart design, balancing beauty with practicality and clear intention. An abstract driftwood flame sculpture adds drama to a tiny garden without requiring much footprint. The twisting forms and weathered texture create movement, like a frozen moment of fire made from the sea. Place it in gravel or among low succulents so it reads as a centerpiece. In small spaces, one sculptural object can define the entire style. The result feels modern, organic, and artistic, turning an ordinary corner into a statement. A framed mirror in a tiny garden creates instant visual expansion. Build the frame from rough reclaimed boards so it blends naturally with the outdoor setting. When a mirror reflects greenery, it doubles the plants and adds depth, making the space feel larger than it is. This also brightens shaded corners by bouncing light. In a compact garden, the mirror becomes both art and illusion, offering a surprising, elegant upgrade with minimal materials. That is the power of a garden upgrade with upcycled wood. Small materials, big impact. From statement sculptures and vertical accents to cozy lighting and space-saving features. These ideas help a tiny garden feel intentional, artistic, and inviting. If you enjoyed this makeover-style inspiration, please hit like, subscribe for more practical garden decor and landscape ideas, and drop a comment telling which project you would build first.